Sometime in sophomore year of high school, I began to develop an obsession with older technology, or at least technology that's older than me, so sorry if I make anyone feel old during this. While I began to notice this obsession in high school, I think the interest sparked much earlier than that. I remember a time where I was maybe 10 years old, staying in this cabin as sort of a weekend family vacation, and there was a record player in the living room. As far as everyone knew, it didn't work. It was just there for decoration. But the idea of getting it to work excited me, so me and my cousin tried to get it running again. Neither she nor I even really knew how a record player worked at that age, or even really what it was. But with a little luck and a bobby pin as a replacement needle, we got it to play the record that was just sitting there. Everyone was shocked that we even managed to get it to turn on, much less that we got it to actually play anything. And from that point, the interest slowly grew. Like I mentioned previously, in sophomore year, this interest grew to new heights, specifically because of film photography. Film photography introduced me to this whole process that nowadays can be done in mere seconds. But to me, this process was fascinating. I mean, just how involved it was interesting enough to lead me to buying my own film camera and all the equipment to develop the film myself. It's an expensive hobby, but to me, I think it's worth it. It's fun. It feels in some way connective to a time that I wasn't even born in. Film photography wasn't the only thing holding me to this obsession. Another thing that interested me was old computer keyboards. I use my computer almost every day for making videos, playing video games, talking with friends, watching movies, and of course just browsing the internet. But in doing so, I use a keyboard a lot. As a piece of technology that's now been around for a couple decades, there's a lot of old keyboards. And one day I was in a Goodwill electronics section and came across this dirty yellow membrane keyboard with a port that I didn't even recognize, but for $1, I bought it, thinking maybe I could clean it up, get it working. And that's just what I did. This dingy keyboard from who knows when was now in near perfect condition. And I used it for about a week before I went online and bought myself something a little bit more high quality. A Unicomp PC-122 buckling spring keyboard. This thing is massive, and while I don't use it all the time, writing essays on this clacky keyboard is just too satisfying to pass up. This keyboard isn't even necessarily old itself. In fact, when I got it, it was brand new. But the keyboard itself is based off old IBM Model Ms, specifically a 122 key variation of it. It takes up a rather large chunk of my desk and weighs around 8 pounds, which is quite heavy for a keyboard. But from there, the overall obsession continued to grow. And not even on purpose. I once again found myself browsing the electronics section of a thrift store when I came across this beauty. A JVC GF500 video camera. And as a film major and just a general camera enthusiast, for $12 I had to buy this thing. Even if it didn't work, it would make for a nice decoration. But batteries, tapes, charging cables were all included in this really nice padded case, so I plugged in the charger, let a battery charge up, and put it in the camera. The thing lit up, made a roaring sound as the videotape spun up, and it worked. I could record straight to these VHS tapes. And with the help of a capture card, I'm able to get the video straight to my computer. There's something about using this technology from before I was born that gives this odd form of nostalgia. A form of nostalgia that is something that enough people have felt to actually make a word for it. Anemoia, nostalgia for a time you've never known. Coined by the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which I've never heard of, but despite that, I still don't necessarily think this feeling is a sorrowful one. It's more of a bittersweet thing. Because in my head, I think of times where film development was prominent because it was the only way you could get your pictures developed. And when these keyboards were brand new, and when this camera had just came out, and how the times were simpler. For me, they were because I simply didn't exist, but really thinking about it, people who lived in those times probably felt the same way I do about the times before them. There are countless comments on music videos across YouTube that go on about how people wish they were born in an earlier time because that's the kind of music they listen to. And there are tons of people who say they wish they were born in other times simply because of the way our culture romanticizes the past. But I'm not one of those people. I don't think that I was born at the wrong time, but I do think that there's a way to experience it. Using this tech is a way to bridge that gap. Maybe the present isn't simple, but what a lot of people seem to overlook is that neither was the past. This has been Stemp. Thank you for watching.